In the early months of 1914, just before the world would descend into the chaos of the Great War, a classified Romanian military operation was initiated in one of the most isolated and feared regions of Eastern Europe, the Carpathian Mountains. Official records state that a small detachment was sent to secure remote border territories, but recently uncovered fragments of military correspondence suggest something far more disturbing. The mission was not one of defense, but investigation. For years, villages scattered along the mountain range had reported strange occurrences, entire families vanishing without warning, livestock found lifeless, their bodies drained and left untouched by predators. Travelers who entered the forests rarely returned, and those who did were often changed, silent, pale, unwilling to speak of what they had seen. Local authorities dismissed these accounts as superstition, folklore deeply rooted in the region's history. Stories of strigoi, creatures believed to rise from the dead and feed on the living. Vampires, as they would later be called. But as reports increased and disappearances began to affect even armed patrols, the military could no longer ignore it. The unit assigned to this mission was the 3rd Mountain Battalion, 32 men trained for harsh terrain and extreme conditions. They were led by Captain Ilie Dragomir, a decorated officer known for his strict discipline and unwavering rationality. He was not a man who believed in myths. The battalion departed in late October. Winter was approaching, and with it, something else. The journey into the Carpathians was slow and unforgiving. The terrain grew steeper, the air colder, the forest thicker with each passing mile. By the time they reached the last known settlement marked on their maps, they found nothing. No villagers, no signs of recent life, only empty houses, doors left open, belongings untouched, as if the people had simply vanished in the middle of their daily routines. One soldier noted in his journal that the silence felt wrong, not peaceful, but watching. The battalion established their first camp at the edge of the forest. Standard protocol was followed, perimeter secured, rotating guards assigned, fires lit to keep the cold at bay. The first 2 nights passed without incident, but the men began to notice something unsettling. There were no animal sounds, no distant howls, no movement in the trees, just wind, and the occasional creak of branches shifting in the darkness. On the 3rd night, Private Stefan Ionescu was assigned to watch duty along the northern perimeter. At approximately 2:17 a.m., he reported seeing a figure standing just beyond the tree line. At first, he assumed it was one of his fellow soldiers, but as he called out, the figure did not respond. It stood completely still, watching, and then, without warning, it moved. Not forward, not backward, but sideways, gliding between the trees with unnatural speed, disappearing into the darkness without a sound. Ionescu insisted that whatever he saw was not human. Captain Dragomir dismissed the report. Fatigue, stress. The isolation was beginning to affect the men. But the following night, 2 soldiers vanished. Their names were Corporal Andrei Luca and Private Victor Stan. They had been assigned to the southern perimeter. When their shift ended, they did not return. A search party was immediately deployed. What they found made no sense. Their rifles were still there, propped against a tree. No signs of struggle, no footprints leading away, only deep indentations in the soil, spaced irregularly, as if something heavy had descended from above and taken them. Dragomir ordered the men back to camp. From that moment on, no one was allowed to leave the perimeter after sunset. Fires were increased, guards doubled, weapons kept ready at all times. But whatever was out there had already begun to circle them. Over the next several nights, more soldiers disappeared, always the same pattern. No sound, no resistance, just absence. The remaining men began to change. Sleep became difficult. Whispers were reported. coming from beyond the firelight. Voices calling their names. Some claimed they recognized the voices, dead relatives, friends long gone. One soldier broke down completely, insisting that he had seen his mother standing between the trees, watching him, smiling. He attempted to leave the camp. He was restrained by force. Before losing consciousness, he whispered something that was later recorded in Dragomir's journal. "They don't hunt us. They call us." By the 8th night, only 12 soldiers remained. That was when the attack began. It started with the fires. One by one, they dimmed, not extinguished, but weakened, as if something in the air was suffocating them. The forest grew darker, the shadows deeper, and then movement. Figures, just beyond the edge of the light. Tall, thin, watching. The soldiers opened fire. Gunshots echoed through the valley. But the figures did not fall. They moved, fast, too fast, circling the camp, testing its defenses, never fully entering the light. One of the creatures stepped forward just enough to be seen. Its face was almost human, but wrong. Eyes reflecting light like glass, skin pale, stretched too tightly across its features, and when it opened its mouth, its teeth were not human. A soldier managed to strike one with the butt of his rifle. The creature did not bleed. It only turned and let out a sound that none of the survivors could properly describe. A scream, layered with multiple voices, as if something inside it was trying to speak and failing. Then it retreated. The attack ended as suddenly as it began, but the damage was done. Only 7 men remained. Captain Dragomir realized something. They were not being hunted. They were being weakened, studied, prepared, and if they stayed, they would all disappear, one by one. So he made a decision that would seal their fate. They would go deeper, toward whatever was controlling them. The next morning, the surviving soldiers gathered their remaining supplies and followed the trail left behind by the creatures. It led them into a valley hidden between towering cliffs, a place where sunlight barely touched the ground. And at the center of that valley, they found it, an abandoned monastery, ancient, decaying, but not empty. Inside, the air felt thick, heavy, as if the building itself was alive. The walls were covered in symbols, carved deep into the stone. Not religious, not protective, something else, something older. The soldiers moved cautiously through the structure until they reached a chamber beneath the main hall. There, they found evidence of what had been happening. Bodies, dozens of them, not buried, not decomposed, preserved, arranged carefully as if part of a ritual. And at the center, a stone structure, a resting place. But before they could investigate further, they realized they were no longer alone. The creatures had followed them. This time, there was no escape. The final entry in Captain Dragomir's journal describes what happened next. It is incomplete. The writing becomes erratic, rushed, almost illegible. Gunfire, screams, darkness, and then a single line. "They are not hiding from us, we are hiding from them." Weeks later, a recovery team was sent to locate the battalion. They found the valley, they found the monastery, but it had collapsed, destroyed from within. No bodies were recovered, no survivors, only fragments of burned equipment and Dragomir's journal. The Romanian military sealed the area shortly after. All records of the 3rd Mountain Battalion were erased. The mission was classified, buried, forgotten. But the mountains never forget. Even today, locals refuse to enter that region after sunset. And those who live nearby claim that sometimes, when the night is quiet, you can hear voices calling from the forest. Not strangers, not animals, but voices you recognize, voices that know your name, waiting for you to answer.